Aloha, this is Matt Darnell with ComTel.Cloud, like up in the sky. Joined as always by Greg Jackson. How you doing, Greg?
Hey, how's it going? Doing good.
So these are seven topics that we found this week that we think are interesting, that we think you think that are interesting. We only take about 2 minutes on each one, so this goes really quick. Let's go ahead and jump right in. This first one is this Wi-Fi. Came out at CES. A lot of stuff came out at CES, but this kind of caught my eye because they talk about 250 megabits over 10 miles. Now, of course, it's got to be line of sight, but that's such huge. When you look at this, some of the Unify stuff and a lot of the other devices can go even farther. But those are dishes you got to put out, and this just a little regular antenna can go 10 miles. And it does says 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz, and they have a sub gigahertz frequency. And the lower the frequency, the more it can get through walls and doors and that those kinds of obstacles it's able to do. But I mean, how much farther, how much more data can they get with this consumer-based kind of equipment?
I'm, you know, I wonder if it's using similar tech that Starlink's using or signal strength because it's about Starlink's what 320 miles up in space and they're getting about half that speed while traveling. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
And Starlink, it's got the laser uplink, which I think is cool.
Oh
Just
wow.
to have that, so the main
That's
uplink
different.
and then but that's just to get from the ground up to the satellite. And then I guess it's lasers between. I'm not if I'm wrong,
Wow.
definitely let me know down there in the comments. But then it's got to get from the satellite down to your little dish. But here, and they exist with current, and then there's a tri-band, so they've got the 2.45 and this sub gigahertz. So as soon as these come out, I mean, I'm gonna try it. It's never gonna go around corners, it's never gonna do that kind of stuff, but really neat stuff. So this here, retro music. Um, I, People have put out Walkman kind of things with cassette tape you can put in, but it's also got MP3 player and that. And here, Victrola. I'm sure someone bought the brand, but people are really spending big dollars for these turntables, these cassette decks. They're putting back. I mean, back when I was in high school, God, this was in the dark ages. You wanted to have that component stereo, one thing for your tape deck, one thing you had a receiver, then you had just an equalizer, then you had a preamp, and then you had the amp, and then on the top you had the turntable and had that. And that's coming back. People want that. I mean, do you think that's more of it sounds better, or is this just a function of, it looks cool, it brings them back to the day, and they've got the money now. These boomers got the money to spend.
I think it's a combination of both. I think it's a little bit of bell bottoms along with sound quality because when you look at music today, I mean, it's just sampled. So there's a lot of things that you're going to hear on a record, either background noise, crackling, you get to hear something, you get to hear it feels more natural, I think. When it's too clean and too crisp, like we see on the samples, I think it can be a little bit dry. So yeah, both.
And the record has just got the pits in it, and then the little needle goes through. And I'd imagine that they have ones now that just a laser, just reflects something off that. So, you're
Oh
not
wow.
actually, that's what my mom would always tell me. You're gonna wear your record out because you play the same track over and over. This is again back in the dark ages. But this thing, I mean, just the record player, $400. And I mean, I'm sure they're gonna.
The records are not cheap, by the way.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, they're
I,
really expensive.
I haven't bought a record in, gosh, many, many, many moons. So this roll up display laptop. So you can see here that it starts as 14 inches. Let me show you a little demonstration of what happens. So it starts as 14-inch, but then as you expand it, as you press the button, it actually raises up. And you can kind of see the little rolling and the reflection there. But I mean, I had always thought the next gen of laptops were going to have stacked screens, where if I have my laptop Now you have to kind of clip them on the sides when you want three, but it would just
Mm.
be built in, not an add-on where it's just I'd flip one out, then I flip the other one out, and then I've got my three screens right there. But have you ever had a folding cell phone?
No, I've seen them, but here in Hawaii, we're famous for having the in between wall doors. I could imagine them using that for screens on laptops.
Absolutely. You mean like a pocket door?
Yeah, like the one that's like in between your wall and you pull it out in the middle.
Yeah, like yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
It
yeah,
little disappears. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
And then it just comes right out. That
yeah,
that's
yeah.
that's another part. I was thinking it'd have to be stacked, but if it could be that's $1 billion idea. You need to go make some laptops right there. But yeah, so this, the very first the Samsung Fold, I think was the first one. They recalled them and it was horrible. But they're so the I think they're up to Samsung Fold 4 now. I mean, you can kind of feel the where it comes together at the
Hmm.
hinge and also see it, but it's so good. And I can see the day where you can literally like a little thing you just pull up like that, and like like an old school scroll, but it is digital. So yeah, your laptop's flat. You just put a thing up and you lift up your screen like that. So that
That's
I
4K
think
too. The
yeah
LG's got it. Yeah, it's
that
crazy.
that is the future. So this is just another article talking about, jobs that are going to be replaced by AI. I think the people that need to be worried the most, like this year, literally this year, 2025, are programmers. If
Mm,
all you're doing is writing code, you're in trouble. If you're not interfacing with humans, if you're not interfacing with other programmers, like if you just get your assignment that says, "Hey, write this subroutine that's going to take these 15 inputs, go grab these 15 things from the database," complex, not easy. You need a CS degree for that kind of stuff. But the more defined you can make a process, the easier it is for AI. If I was telling AI, make me a good steak, that's not very specific. Okay, what kind of steak? How do I want it cooked? And have it so as opposed to a very specific set of rules. Program, you got specific set of rules. I'm going to go get these things. So things you can define easily, I think are going to be problems. I think they need to worry. I'm sure a lot of them are. You better be sharpening up your resume. I mean, do you have an opinion of who needs to worry the most, short term, near term, for being replaced by AI?
I think it's going to be easy tasks like, data entry, telemarketers, and I think, what is it? Amazon has more robots than they do humans now. So I think labor intensive stuff. Things that include, I think the programmers are not the ones that we're going to see. The ones we're going to see are like fast food, order entry type stuff where someone doesn't want their order wrong. So I think the things that we see every day is going to be interesting.
And I was at a McDonald's a couple months ago, and you walk in, they only had one cash register. No one was there, but a big, huge thing where you put in your order.
Yeah.
All right, that was my first
And you
job.
lick your fingers before you.
There we go. So Office 365, big rises, always go, whether you're doing E3 on the enterprise side or just a business or a standard. And this article here is talking more about on the home side. But I really think they're getting dangerously close to killing the golden goose here. Um, and when I say that, I mean Windows. Okay. Every program I could have on my desktop, I can easily recreate on Linux, using one. I mean, the GUIs are so good now, whether it's Mint or whatever your favorite, distro is of that, mostly Debian based, for that. But Office is the one thing I cannot. I mean, you open Office or LibreOffice and have that, and your only option is to use a web. And you can use Firefox and yeah, the exact same web experience, whether it's Windows, whether it's Linux. But they're raising the price so much, even on the enterprise side, for
Yeah.
Office, the apps, and the new Outlook. My goodness, it's just like the same thing almost that you get on the web.
Yeah. No, I've been working with people that struggle with the new Outlook for lots of reasons. You can't click and drag your email to the calendar. It doesn't do autocorrect very well. I'm a big fan of the web-based stuff because now, at least from a management perspective, you don't have to run a bunch of updates. But for people that have a lot of computing, whether it's macros or formatting, you don't have an internet connection. So there's still going to be a target market, but I think you're right. I mean, it costs a lot of money.
Yeah. And I mean, my internet goes down, I can't work, that. So yeah, they're really getting close here. So this here is kind of a, mock-up render. I mean, this is not official of what a CarPlay 2.0 dashboard could look like. Um, and on the bottom there, that looks very close to what CarPlay looks like today. You can get that. But then the whole dashboard is Apple there. And I gotta wonder if, my goodness, I'm an old man. I want buttons. I want a knob. At least give me one volume knob that I can go and grab. I don't want it to be going like, where would the volume? Here I can hang up here, but where would the volume be? If I wanted to, it's probably on. There's probably something, physical buttons on the steering wheel, and that might be our only saving grace. But man, I want knobs, I want controls.
I have a friend that purchased a very, very expensive watch, and part of the screen went dead. And so he had an analog problem. So I can imagine if you're looking at something here and some alarm's going off, but your screen's dead, yeah, you got to be able to push something physical.
And stuck pixels or something,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
and or a certain portion of the screen is out, and that happens to be your speedometer. I don't know,
exactly.
who knows how programmable they're going to be, and I'm sure Android Auto is going the same way. But I mean, they want to be able to control your car. Now, on one half, I want to be able to talk to my car and just say, turn on the air conditioning, parallel park for me. I want to go into that spot there and be able to point at the spot I want a parking spot. And it has cameras and it knows where I'm pointing. And so I do want it smarter, but throw me a bone here. Give me some buttons, and knobs, and sliders. Right,
We'll call
Bitcoin.
it, and you're going to call
Yeah.
it kit, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Knight Rider, baby. So this is finally over now. This gentleman had, this is 600, million pounds of Bitcoin he had on a hard drive that I think he threw away 10
Wow.
years ago. And he's been suing to be able to dig it back up. They finally said, no, you can't dig it back up for that. So Bitcoin wallet in 2013.
That's
What
because
was
they
he
found it already.
somebody else has got it, right? But I mean, this is, I think, the biggest problem with Bitcoin. If you have money locked in a safe, in a safety deposit box, some, 35 mile, somewhere that's very, very secure, you can still get at it. Um, Bitcoin has got a finite amount of Bitcoins that are ever going to be made. And 50 years from now, I could easily see, once this generation, the people that mined all this Bitcoin passes away, they're gone. They're locked up in some secure wallet, and Bitcoin is going to disappear just because there won't be, and nobody has access to any. And it's not, I don't think it's going to become so rare that it's going to become, valuable. But yeah, this is a huge problem for Bitcoin.
I got a joke for you.
Oh, what's that? What's that?
Yeah, why did Bitcoin break up with the Cash Wallet?
Why did Bitcoin break up with Cash Wallet?
Because it couldn't handle all the change.
Couldn't handle all the change.
Oh
Okay.
my goodness.
Change. Change is in like pocket change and
It's a
chain.
pun.
It's a pun. Yeah. Okay. That's great. We
I know.
really need to
Yeah.
screen these. Got to be easier anyway. But yeah, so this Bitcoin is really a problem. I know you've got different things, but once, if I was going to do a service, on the web, I hope someone does this, where I could lock something up, and like I have to check in every month somehow,
Mm.
log a password, and if I don't, then it sends this email out. So I could, somebody's after you and you got the evidence on them and you say, hey, so anything happens to me, you know, bad or otherwise,
Lost. Yeah.
it's the video of you taking the bribe is going to go to the police. So don't, just getting rid of me won't take care of that. Or this kind of Bitcoin stuff. Okay, here's my Bitcoin keyboard. So you got my excuse me, Bitcoin password. You've got to trust that service. But once I die, somebody needs access to that.
Ledger offers that. They got into a lot of heat because they offered to keep your seed passphrase.
Right. But when would they release it to someone else?
That there, yeah, I don't know if that one comes with a like a will and testament type thing. A lot of people keep that separate or in an envelope or with a third party, but this one's third party. So you could give them the password to your ledger and then ledger could give you the seed phrase.
So yeah, I think banks are going to have to get into that. It's
Yeah.
elect. Now you have a physical, safety deposit box. There's going to be a safety deposit box for your electronic wallet passwords and banks, lawyers, accountants. I'm not sure who's gonna do that. I doubt it'll be no one's going to trust the government, for that. They might dip into it for Social Security. But anyway, all right. So this was Matt Darnell and Greg Jackson. I'm with ComTel.Cloud. Hope you enjoy that. If anything we're wrong about, definitely put that down there in the comments. Would love to chat about it. Have a great day. Aloha.
Aloha.